They said there had been a death in the house. Natural death is what they said. The previous owner had perished on the premises, and by law they had to disclose that. And that's all the real estate guy would say. So we didn't give it much thought, although the old craftsman did have something lingering in the form of taps from the walls at night. It wasn't vermin or old pipes. These were very distinct taps right behind your head. Sometimes it even sounded like Morse code. We named it Tapper and wrote it off to old houses having personalities. Tapper was just that, a dash of eerie old house spice. Then came the revelation. I was in the backyard doing some yard work a few weeks after the move-in when the head of the lady next door appeared at the fence. She introduced herself in the manner of a neighborhood gossip, quickly brought the topic of discussion around to what happened to John. It was so sad. Yeah, he was pretty young, huh? Whether it's sudden disease or something, they just told me it was natural causes. I saw her eyes light up with eagerness. She was going to be the first to tell me something good. Well, I suppose you could call it natural causes if you call hanging yourself with a rope in the garage a natural cause. Holy shit, you mean to tell me I'm the owner of a goddamn suicide garage? She gave me the rundown. It was the biggest thing to ever happen on the quiet Alameda Avenue. John's girlfriend had run into the street screaming hysterically one morning, gesturing to the garage, but incomprehensible. She didn't speak English, and no one could tell if John had beat her or what the heck was going on. So everyone called 911, fire, police, ambulance. They filled the streets, and they found John hanging in the garage. No note. Neighbors had no idea why. His family sold the house. We bought it through an agent and never met them. So our knowledge of John is very limited. But the story made the tappings more sinister, malevolent. The calling of a spirit beyond the grave who was so discontent in life that he didn't find peace even in death. That's not the kind of thing you want lurking around the house. And look, the tappings got worse, and I'd been watching Ghost Adventures for advisory purposes. That's the show with the jock guys who go into haunted houses and yell at ghosts to instigate a manifestation. You know, come at me, ghost, bro! Hey, you like scaring little old ladies? Why don't you try to scare a piece of me? Yeah, Ghost Adventures. So one night when the tapping seemed particularly bad and coming from above us in the attic, inspired by Ghost Adventures, I grabbed the vacuum cleaner and went up there, shoving the suck brush around on the floor, jamming it into corners and hollering, "Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Who are you gonna call? Ghost..." Bang! 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 4 fucking gunshots down the street. Sirens, a lot of sirens. That's the only time anybody has been murdered on my street in the nearly 9 years I've lived in that house. That was way too creepy a coincidence. I mean, turns out it was a drug deal thing gone bad and someone was arrested, but still, I fucked with the ghost of the suicide guy and someone got shot. I mean, fuck! So now, Tapper, he had some sort of unholy street cred and was, at least in my book, a big-time spook. I dreaded the taps and couldn't sleep after hearing them, and that's when I talked to the other neighbor about my suicide garage. Yeah, that was a strange thing. John didn't seem very suicidal. He played music. He jammed with his friends. His kids would come out sometimes. I just talked to him, and he seemed fine, but, you know, the timing was kind of funny. Funny? How so? Well, it happened just a couple days after that actor from the Kung Fu TV show. That dude was found dead in that hotel room in Thailand. David Carradine? Holy fucking shit, you're telling me I've got a goddamn autoerotic asphyxiation garage? So if the gunshots down the street made Tapper seem legit, this bit of information kind of stripped him of his haunt credibility. Look, it's one thing to have a disturbed soul hanging about, all racked with depression and filled with some kind of envious hate of the living. It's another thing entirely to have the spirit of an experimental masturbator lurking around. So Tapper became Tapper to Wabber. We got a dog. The tapping slowed, for the most part, have ceased, and sometimes we crack jokes. We crack jokes about going into the garage, stroke of midnight on a full moon. The weather is warm, windless, traffic's light, just maybe. Listen close. You just might hear old Tapper off in the corner, gently fapping away for all eternity.